Following on from keyword research, you need to build your site architecture and navigation with your human visitors in mind. User experience and SEO have to go hand in hand with each other. Quite often you'll come across dilemmas where you need to make a compromise, and the compromise should always be in favour of your customers. You'll find that by thinking outside the box, you can nearly always accommodate the two. It helps if you can work your keywords into your URL just once for the main keyword that you're targeting on that page. An example of a keyword-rich URL might be something like www.yourdomain.com/dog-services-london/mobile-grooming/. I wouldn't particularly want to give the URL more levels than that, but sometimes if you have a large inventory on an e-commerce site, you have no alternative. Just make sure that you think very carefully about how you devise your URL structure, because it can be quite a painful process to change it further down the line. You might think that you don't have any duplicate content on your site, but are you really sure? Let's take a look at a website that on the face of it looks really quite nice. Lovely URL structure. You see here we're at dog grooming and we've got dog care services London, so it's nicely geolocated targeting. And then again we've got dog grooming, another keyword that they're probably targeting as the actual page. Now, if you look at this, the problem with this particular one is that if you take the extension off the end, you get to exactly the same page. Then, if I add a slash to the end, you get to exactly the same page. Then, if I take away the dub, you get to exactly the same page. And if I take away the slash at the end, you get to exactly the same page. Now, you might not think that that's a problem, but unfortunately, each of those pages is counted by the search engines as a page of its own, because it gets there via a different link. This can be further compounded if you use HTTPS, i.e. secure, as well as just plain HTTP. This whole thing is known as canonicalization, and it can be extremely damaging to sites. Google last year rolled out a huge update to their algorithm where they really penalized sites for having duplicate content, and this is duplicate content. So what you need to do is that you need to make sure that when you leave your link around the internet, on profiles, comments, whatever, that you always use the same URL. If you want it to have a trailing slash, make sure that you always leave a trailing slash. If you want the dub, then make sure that you always have the dub in your URL. What you're then going to have to do if you find that you've got this problem is actually institute 301 redirects from all of the URLs to just the one URL. If you're using a CMS like WordPress, you won't have too many issues because there are plenty of simple plugins that will help you do the redirects. If you're not using a CMS, things can get a little trickier. And if you don't have access to your server, if you're on a shared server, things can get even more awkward. And you will probably need to get a professional involved. Right, well, if you want to go and have a look, check your site, try fiddling around with the URL and see if you get to the same pages. If you do, give me a shout and we'll see what the best tactic is going to be for you to resolve that. If you don't, all well and good, your site's looking cool.